Hi everyone, I want to give you the instructions that you'll need in order to complete the Perdisco project. First, let's go to the home page and announcements, and you'll notice that the course is separated between course documents and course communication. Under course communication, there is a web page dedicated to Perdisco discussions by students for students, and here you would create a forum in case you want to talk with other students about the problems that they are encountering. Now, of course, I'll be always walking with you step by step, and if you'll grab a screenshot from what you have by way of a question for Perdisco, I can look it up and uh, do some research on it and be able to get back with you as far as the answer is concerned. If you want to catch me after class, do a screenshot, send me an email so I'll be able to research it before class, because I won't have a complete walking knowledge of every type of question that you could have for me with relationship to Perdisco, and I will have the Perdisco book with me, but I'll need some help, and so as far as you give me time enough to look up what your answer is, so I won't be able to probably just answer your question off the top of my head after class. So if you want to catch me, just give me a little heads up, a little time to look something up, and then we can walk through it together. But what you'll find when we go through everything, there are a lot of resources already online for you in order to complete this. So that's what we have under course communication. Now, under course information, under course documents, let's look there. And at the very bottom are the instructions. So this is the link to register for Perdisco. And Perdisco, what it means in Latin just to understand or to learn thoroughly. So that's where the name came from. So here you will, this is the register link for this class. Once you get there, you can highlight this and copy and paste it, or just remember it and type it in, but type in Delgado Community College, Louisiana, United States, enter your email address, and Perdisco will automatically send you an activation code to match you to my course. And the cost that you will be paying to Perdisco with a credit card will be $24.95. Any academic questions or theoretical questions you'll ask me, but if you have problems with how the website is interacting or working, you would email support@perdisco.com in order to get them to help you. Now, probably the best web browsers for Perdisco will be Firefox, Chrome, or Safari. Again, like everything else, it doesn't seem to work very well with Internet Explorer. So let's go back into under course documents. Now let's look at our next folder. Under course content, there'll be some content to help you with Perdisco. So here we have the course content for each one of the chapters, and at the very bottom we have the information on Perdisco, the aids for Perdisco. Now, your project will be comprised of the accounting cycle for a sole proprietor, very similar to the cycle problem that you did for Accounting 201 that we do for Delgado. Now, if you weren't in Accounting 201 for Delgado, what this is simply the accounting cycle from journal entries to the unadjusted trial balance, to adjusting journal entries, to the adjusted trial balance, from that to the preparation of financial statements, then the closing entries, and then the preparation of the post-closing trial balance. So it'll be an accounting cycle. It will be comprised of just those first four chapters for Accounting 201. If any of you used another accounting book, it's just the accounting cycle through the closing entries to the post-closing trial balance. So here I have a video of accounting cycle for a sole proprietorship in YouTube. I think it's about 20 minutes or so, and it'll walk you back through all the transactions, through the journal entries, through posting them in T accounts, because we don't have a general ledger software, and then from there to the individual trial balances all the way through the post-closing trial balance. So that should help you work as a reminder for everything that we do. Additionally, for the debits and credits of everything that you'll need to know through the post-closing trial balance, I have these accounting equations here for the first 4 chapters in the Wild book. Those are the indications that you should use in looking through the accounting equations. Just stop if the video goes beyond chapter 4, the post-closing trial balance entries, into something related to retail. You'll know you've gone too far, so just stop there. Additionally, we have the student guide for you in Perdisco, so let's look at that. All right, so let's pull this up. Make sure I got it within the screenshot that we're looking at. All right, so this is for U.S. GAAP. Now, Perdisco is very popular through Australia, New Zealand, and a lot of the Asian companies, and very popular also in the United States. So that's why they have it differentiated as U.S. GAAP. So this will be a practice set, a virtual tour, U.S. GAAP Edition 3. This student companion to the virtual accounting practice provides you with the information on how the practice set works and what you'll experience when you complete your practice set. Now, a lot of students have told me that the practice set is really just like a very long homework problem, and they're probably correct. Perdisco will tell you it will take you between 8 to 10 hours in order to complete this, and that you probably shouldn't try to do it in one sitting. And most students have told me, yes, don't try and do it all in one sitting, but for the most part, they've told me that it took them anywhere between 5 and 7 hours to complete. But of course, Perdisco is going to give you more than enough time as far as your time estimate to make certain that you don't underestimate the time that you'll need in order to complete it. So this companion is based on the experiences of and feedback from thousands of students who have completed the accounting practice sets before you. And I just want to tell you that if you do send them a suggestion as to how to make the practice set more easily understood by a student, they take your comments very seriously. And so Perdisco at support, Perdisco support is what you would use in order to communicate that to them. So taking the time to read and understand the information provided here will enhance your overall experience and will help you avoid the common mistakes that students make when completing the practice set. So this companion guide will walk through how it works, what you'll experience, hence to ensure your success, how it's graded, and the conclusion and how to get technical help. Now, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but I'm going to give you enough information here. I want you to read this yourselves, but I'll give you enough information here to answer most of the questions that I run across from students and to help you get launched. This student guide isn't the detailed set of instructions. You'll find those once you've purchased the Perdisco set and once you start working it. But this is how to, it's simply an overview of what you'll experience. And so then the detailed instructions you'll need will be provided on an outline of every page of the practice set, but you should read each and every one of those instructions and follow them carefully. So this is a manual practice set. It will be graded within the Perdisco software, so you'll input your answers into the Perdisco software and it will grade it, but it is not a general ledger software, so it won't do any calculations for you and it won't update any information for you. So the virtual practice set requires you to complete a 1-month accounting cycle for one business from a range of fictional service businesses that provide various vocational courses. The practice set is designed to be a similar experience to completing a paper-based practice set except this practice set is delivered online using a web browser without any software to install. In this context, the word practice does not mean a casual attempt, but rather an opportunity for you to demonstrate your accounting skills in your own simulated accounting practice. Each one of you will have your own practice set with its own numbers. So while you can help each other theoretically, your answers, your math answers won't be the same from student to student. The accounting cycle implemented in your practice set is shown below. It adopts a manual approach. This means it requires you to complete the accounting cycle of your allotted business entity entirely by hand, albeit by using the Perdisco website instead of paper. So you'll have the transactions at the beginning of the month. You'll record the transactions, post them to the general ledger, which is just like a more advanced T account. You'll prepare an unadjusted trial balance. You'll then prepare adjusting journal entries based on the information that Perdisco provides you. After that, you'll prepare an adjusted trial balance, the financial statements, the closing entries, and the post-closing trial balance, and that will be at the end of the month. So during the accounting cycle, you will manually record transactions into the general journal of your business, and that's where the accounting equations will help you as to remembering some of the earlier debits and credits you ran across. And then manually post these transactions into the general ledger account by individual account. So each account, like cash or prepaids or accounts payable, will have its own general ledger page, much like a T account. At the end of the month, you'll construct a trial balance, record adjusting journal entries, prepare the financial statements, and journalize the closing entries. Most of the above steps are not automated. For example, journal entries are not automatically posted to the general ledger accounts, so you'll have to do that manually, and running balances on the general ledger accounts are not automatically maintained, so you're going to have to maintain by adding it up the running balances in the general ledger. This is by design. Our website is not an accounting software package and not meant for you to perform any accounting software functions. Instead, our website is used as a teaching tool designed to give you direct experience in all elements of a manual accounting system. It doesn't hide any of these elements behind an automated computer process, no matter how mundane they may seem. Please remember the manual nature is this practice set is a matter of deliberate design, and this is also the reason why I've selected it for you. We didn't actually forget to tell your computer to add up totals. In fact, while doing all these tasks by hands, while it will take you additional time, its point is to allow you to really understand what the computers are doing in the background when the accounting cycle is implemented in a software system. You really have to understand and know what's going on in order to be a really good future accountant. This is the activity that your instructor has chosen for you to complete. So why is the practice set online? Online allows you to have a virtual tutor functionality to provide you with real-time feedback. So every time that you submit a module and you have an error, the virtual tutor within Perdisco will automatically, without you having to call me, will give you real-time feedback and tell you exactly where you made a mistake. So you'll know exactly what you did wrong, and you'll be able to correct it as you move forward. There's the auto-grade function, which automatically scores your attempts, and so you'll know immediately after you've submitted a module what your score is. Also, it provides a back-on-track functionality to prevent you from carrying forward mistakes. So if you do something by hand, you could carry forward the mistakes and wind up with a wrong answer at the end of it. So what it'll do, after you submit your module, it will grade it and then will already automatically correct you so that you will get back on track and you'll be able to start off with your new module with correct answers. And our anti-cheat functionality delivers a different version to every student. The virtual tool practice set is divided into 8 sections or modules that are submitted to the website as a separate unit of work. Each section includes the general ledger, the general journal rather, the general ledger, trial balances, and/or financial statements, which will require more than 50 responses from you to complete. As you submit each section, the auto-grade functionality corrects that section, and the virtual tutor will provide you with feedback on your attempt. At the start of each new section, you are brought back on track and in a way that ensures you don't carry an error forward. An important implication is that you cannot print out the entire practice set completed offline as a single unit of work and then enter all your answers in one session. Instead, the practice set is designed so that you cannot move to the new section until you've completed the current section. Now, that's being said, an individual section can be printed and worked on offline. You don't have to stay online all the time. So you can start a section, print out all of the paperwork associated with it, complete it offline or by hand, and then input it. Some students like to do this. Some students prefer to go from page to page, from web link to web link, and do it like that. It just depends upon how you like to work. Now, some students, also you'll have 2 attempts to complete this. Some students like to do one set very, very slowly. They just want to do it one time, and then they wind up going through it and taking a long time doing it, and doing it very carefully, and then wind up with a grade they're happy with the first time. Other students just want to rush through the first attempt so they know exactly what they need to do, exactly what kind of errors they could make, and they want to take their time with the second attempt. Most students are going to be those just like you that are going to do a great job. They're going to try and do a great job on the first one, make some mistakes, not be happy with their grade, and then submit a second attempt to get a better grade. Remember, whatever way that you like to work, make certain that you give yourself enough time to do a second set, a second submission if you feel like you're not happy with your first grade. That being said, you have to complete each module before you can complete an entire set, and you have to submit it before you can start with the second submission. So this structure is set up to help you. After each step, you'll receive feedback so you can avoid making the same mistake twice. Further, at the start of each new section, you'll be brought back on track by resetting your general journal, and all of your ledgers and account balances to the correct value in a way that ensures that you cannot be penalized for follow-on errors, which is unlikely if you happen to submit the entire practice set at one time. Additionally, when you get your second submission, your numbers will be different again. So if you're very savvy in Excel, you may want to build yourself some Excel spreadsheets that can help you finish this. If not, though, it's still, a lot of students do it by hand, and it still only takes them 6 or 7 hours in total to finish this. So we've designed with sample exercises. When you start, they've designed 2 sample exercises to help you familiarize yourself with the functionality of this practice set. They are provided for demonstration purposes only, and your responses don't count as your overall score for the practice set. So they're even going to let you practice before you start. Tracking progress. This practice set is set as a large activity which is expected to take 8 to 10 study hours to complete over many days or weeks. Don't leave it to the last minute, and don't expect to complete the practice set the night before it is due. You just won't have enough time. So what you'll do is every time you finish a piece of the puzzle, it'll show you where you are. To help you understand where you are in the practice set, you're provided with a progress map. A progress map is shown at the right at the very early stage of the practice set in the format of a puzzle, so as you complete each piece, you'll see where you are. The progress map provides a visual image showing you what you've done, the faded completed pieces, where you are right now, which is the highlighted active piece, and what still remains to be completed, the gray puzzle pieces. Below the practice map, you are shown the percentage of the practice set that you've already completed, based upon the estimated study hours for each section. You are also told how many current hours this current section will take, and how many study hours are likely to remain before the practice set is fully complete. So a word to the wise here, you may say, okay, this is saying that it's going to take a half hour, this is saying it's going to take 45 minutes, and you set aside a half hour. You set aside 45 minutes in order to complete a module. If you get interrupted, say for instance somebody runs out of gas or needs battery help, and you've got to leave the computer, I would do a series of screenshots so that you'll be able to get back on track and be able to re-enter the work that you previously entered in. You cannot save your work based upon an uncompleted or unsubmitted module. You can bookmark where you are, but you won't be able to save that work. It won't start you back where you left off. So take a bunch of screenshots so you will be able to get back on track and re-input where you've already input. All right, back to the text. You will also receive information on your progressive score so you know the points available on each page of the practice set, and so you're aware of how well you perform so you can realize the opportunity that remains to improve your final score. Note that you can only move in a forward direction. Once a page is submitted, it's not possible to return to that page or change the answers submitted on that page. It is, however, possible to bookmark your current page prior to submitting it and return to the page at a later date. This allows you to complete your practice set over multiple sittings. In addition to the progress mat, every page of the practice sets provides a link to all the information required to complete the current page, as well as information from the preceding pages. So if you've forgotten some of your general instructions, you can look back there. If you need to know the company's policies and procedures, that's the link. If you want to look at all of the transactions, there it is. And if you want to look at your adjusting journal entry information and kind of maybe do some research before you sit down and do your adjusting journal entries, that's given to you there, as well as the chart of accounts. While you cannot literally go backwards to the previous pages, all of the information on these pages is always available to help you do any kind of calculations. So what you'll experience is the introduction to the business and its accounting practice. You'll commence with some initial exercises that are not scored, but will introduce you to how it works. The business that's been assigned to you is introduced. It's a sole proprietor called Juilliard School of Music, along with its owners, its industry, its accounting practices and policies and procedures. And this is an example of the accounting policies and procedures that you'll be asked to read and implement during your recording of transactions. This will also give you a really good idea if you are how comfortable or how much you enjoy doing accounting work. This will be low-level accounting work. It won't be where you'll wind up in your career, but it'll probably be where you'll start in your career if you start working for a private company. So recording transactions, you're provided with a transaction list broken into weeks and then asked to record these into the manual accounting system used by your business. Sample transaction list is here. Your actual transactions, the services involved, dates, supplies, and customers will be different from this. You'll record these transactions into a general journal on screen that appears just like a manual journal on paper. Make sure to put in the dates. It's very finicky. I want you to put in the dates. I believe there's a drop-down menu for the account, so you want to select the account for which this transaction is related to. Don't worry about the posting reference in the general journal just yet. And then you'll put in whether it's a debit or credit. It does take into consideration the fact that debits go first and credits go second. So enter in your debits and credits there. Then you want to post these to the general ledger. You'll manually post them to the general ledger on the screen that appears just like a manual ledger would on paper. So this is the general ledger for cash. Notice the cash is account number 100, and so when you go into your posting reference, there will be a space there for you to enter in the posting reference from the general journal, and at that point you'll put in the account number, which if this was a cash transaction would be posting reference would be account 100 having to do with cash. So then you'll put in the same date that you have from the general journal, which you'll have to put in, and then also description. They don't penalize you if you don't put a description in your general ledger, but you may want to do that. It may help you as you go through putting together the trial balances and maybe the adjusting journal entries. This is where you'll put the posting reference as to where you got and it's typically going to be the general ledger, general journal, I believe it is. And then you'll put in whether it's a debit or credit based upon what's in the general journal. And then you're going to have to maintain a running balance and identify it, whether it's a debit or a credit balance as far as the running total is concerned. And that's an example of the accounts receivable. Then you'll prepare an unadjusted trial balance just like you would normally in a paper class. So after posting transactions to the general ledger, you'll prepare an unadjusted trial balance on the format on the right. Remember, you want to make certain that you have normal account balances, and so make sure you look at your debits and credits on the accounting equation, that YouTube video, to see whether or not it's a normal balance. And remember, a normal balance is the account, whether it's a debit or credit for the account, whatever increases the account is the normal balance. So accounts payable, a normal balance would be a credit balance. For your assets, things such as cash, the normal balance would be a debit because they increase with a debit. So then you'll put in adjusting entries, the adjusted trial balance. You'll prepare adjusting general entries, and they'll give you enough information in order to prepare those adjusting journal entries. And then you'll prepare the financial statements, record the closing entries, and review the post-closing trial balance. Remember, on the post-closing trial balance, you should only have balance sheet accounts, because all of the temporary accounts, such as the income statement and statement of owner's equity, all of those accounts are temporary accounts and should be closed. Hence, to ensure your success, you really only need one hint. Almost all concerns and misunderstandings would never arise if all students applied one piece of advice. And you'll find this if you ask me a question. I'll find exactly where it is in your instructions and show you that the instructions are truly there. You just need to take the time to read them all. So almost without fail, every student query that reaches our support team is because a student has not read the instructions we provided to them. Please read and follow all the instructions. The practice set has been carefully designed so that all the information you required is on the page you need it. If you read and follow the instructions, you will significantly increase your chance of performing well. We have thousands of students across the United States, Australia, New England, and Asia regularly completing the various practice sets in our catalog. Our design approach, coupled with ongoing feedback from so many students, means that we can assure you that all of the information and instructions that you really need do already exist. If you don't understand an instruction, or if you find the information provided to be ambiguous, our experience shows that it's likely your own academic preparation is incomplete. So when they refer to the academic preparation being incomplete, or maybe perhaps it's been a long time since you took the basic accounting course, watch the video that I provided to you on the accounting cycle and see if that doesn't help. You should review your course, your textbook, and any other study materials before proceeding. Again, I'm trying to give you a shortcut that you don't have to read your textbook and all of that sort of information again, and you can watch the video and finish with that. We try to help yourself by asking you to read some simple instructions, all of which are designed to help you succeed. We even ask you to agree that you've read them, right? So they have you sign an agreement that you've read all of these instructions. Despite this, many students choose not to read the instructions and then submit their agreement without truly spending the time necessary to help them maximize their success. Please don't let this be you. As a result, the biggest hint to ensure your success is what? Yes, please take the time to read all of the instructions, seek to understand each one, and then apply it before completing your practice set. Okay? So I'm going to kind of skim through some of this information because I'm sure you don't want me to read all of these pages to you, and I'll just make some general remarks. Again, you're the accountant for a specific business. This will give you a lot of practice and help you see whether or not, if you're thinking about accounting as a career choice, again, it's where you'll start out in your accounting career, but it'll help you give you a good idea if this is for you. Again, review the accounting cycle concepts, and there's the YouTube video. You can only move forward through the practice sets. Once a page is submitted, it's not possible to return that page and correct anything you thought you made wrong. So it is possible to print a page, bookmark it, work on the printed information offline, and then return to the practice website to submit your bookwork page some days later. Some students forget to print their feedbacks, and others forget to print the instruction page showing the policies and procedures of the business and the transactions to record. If you also forget to print these items, there's no need to worry. While you cannot go backwards to see the pages again or do a rework, all of the information you need to complete any future page of the practice set is provided on that future page, including the policies and procedures and your transaction list. So you can always find the information that they provided to you previously. You can't rework something, though. It's already been graded, okay? So remember to identify missing items. There'll be some feedback that it's giving you through the virtual tutor, so just make certain that you use that. Use a good supported browser. Again, I don't advocate Internet Explorer, but use Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. Please take care to press the submit button only when you're actually ready to submit your answers. Because even I can't have them reset it for an individual module. You'll have to go ahead and complete the module and do a second set. I can, if you have some problem along this line, I can give you a third attempt, but they cannot take you back to where you are individually on a web browser. Please do not use either your browser's stop or refresh button. Printing the stop button on your browser will not stop the submission of a page, but could result in you not receiving all of your feedback. A similar situation can help if you press the refresh button on your browser. So just make sure to keep that in mind. Ensure you allow yourself enough time. And it's a large activity, between 8 and 10 hours. Most students say between 6 and 7 hours. And remember that they're going to give you enough of a time allowance and an estimate of time so that you can fully complete it, but it shouldn't take you as long as they say. That's what students tell me, and that's what I'm going to tell you. Each section of the practice set suggests how many study hours may be needed to complete that section, but subject to any due dates and set by your instructors. You should proceed through the practice set at your own pace. Okay, so you will be graded out of more than 200 points and assigns more than 200 points in the grading schemes, and achieves a very fine grain controlled over grading outcomes. As a result, there's no need to become concerned about a minor mistake you make, such as a wrong total, because the depth of our auto-grade algorithms ensures that your final grade will be a general indication of your overall trend of your performance to this practice set as a whole. Okay, so welcome to the practice set. It'll take you about a half hour to read through all of the instructions and work through the examples. Then set aside about an hour and a half for recording transactions worth 32% of your grade. The posting, 1.5 hours, 30% of your grade. And so now you can see how this works, right? Up to 284 points, and then I take a percentage of that to fit it to how many points I'm giving for this in this course. Again, they're only estimates, so you'll know exactly how much time to set aside in order to do the work in a particular setting. Points are not deducted for incorrect answers. They just accumulate the information on answers that are correct. A red cross shown against a response, such as that in the statement of changes in owner's equity at the right, indicates that the response is not correct and that no points have been awarded for that response. However, no points have been deducted. So read about this. Not every check mark or cross are equal, so make certain that you read through that. Transaction descriptions are not graded when you're entering something into the general ledger for a particular account, but you will need it in the general journal. You will have a description there that will be the name of the account. So this is just referring to the general ledger, not the general journal, when you need to put in as a description the name of the account where the debit and the credit should go to. And then here you can see the posting reference here. This is from the general journal. So that's what they want you to input here at the general ledger. Being accurate will earn you points. So again, depending upon how you like to work, but at some point you'll have to slow down and try and be accurate. It's also very important in accounting work, so it'll also give you a good indication as to whether or not accounting work is for you. This is the conclusion. You can email them at support@perdisco.com if you have any problems. And then they're giving you best wishes, and so do I. Again, I've worked through this as a student without any instructions or a textbook, and uh, just want to let you know that all of the instructions are there. Then you have the Perdisco discussions by students for students, so you guys can pass information back and forth to one another. And I'm not reading anything here unless somebody objects to something and tells me about it. But I'm not reviewing this information here. It's just for you, by you. And then also, too, if you want to find a classmate by their first name, you can also find email addresses and exchange information, ideas, and helpful hints. And as we go through and have class times between the time now and the time that we'll finish, I'll always set aside some additional time for anybody who wants to talk about Perdisco at the end of class, so that you guys can share ideas and talk to one another about it. And again, I'm always there to help. Just let me know that you need help. Let me know what you need help with so I can research it and find the appropriate page and enough information to be able to help you through it or walk you through what your concern is. But again, I need a heads up because I won't be able to answer you just off the top of my head or just by looking through, several hundred pages that I have printed out, and I won't remember where everything is. All right. So, good luck, and it's not as bad as it seems. And I think that's all I need to tell you. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.